is Earl Edmund. I am from the Silver Lining Foundation. You all hearing me clearly? No? Better? Okay, I guess. Let's hope. Okay, good. So for those of us who don't know who the Silver Lining Foundation is, I just want to give a brief background. So the Silver Lining Foundation was formed in 2012 after the suicide of a 16-year-old boy who attended St. Mary's College. The Silver Lining Foundation developed, based on this, a three-pronged framework under the support, education, and advocacy. Still not hearing clear?
No, I don't know if you can talk.
Better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. So we developed a three-pronged approach to the aspect of advocacy under support, education, and advocacy. The Silver Lining Foundation, we really and truly try to promote suicide prevention and anti-discrimination, especially for queer youth, right? We were officially registered as a nonprofit in 2013, so in a matter of a year from the genesis of the foundation, we became a nonprofit in 2013. So to give a bit into the scope of the project, prior to the project, we always used to receive a lot of messages from queer youth. And when I say queer, for the duration of the presentation, I mean everybody who's under the spectrum of LGBTIQ or A, right? We got a lot of messages from queer youth saying that they didn't feel a sense of community, they didn't feel a sense of safety, and they didn't feel a sense of togetherness with their families. So ironically, when we got the call for this grant, it married perfectly with what we were doing in that in us trying to build safer spaces and peer support networks, this project, it allowed us to really and truly capitalize on that support that they need. So it actually formed part of the reason for the two deliverables that we wanted to achieve. We wanted to talk about combating gay conversion therapy in Trinidad and Tobago, and we also wanted to promote a stronger family support network for queer people. And I will go a bit into the details behind it in a short while. In addition to the two aspects there, we also identified a couple of activities that we would like to see because we wanted to promote visibility, and visibility not just for the project, but visibility for queer people in general. What we wanted to do with the visibility was to show that queer people actually exist. Queer people are, at the end of the day, just that, people. We wanted to go into public spaces with families, with friends, and just show that we are humans at the end of the day, right? So with the deliverables, we managed to write 4 advertorials, and we were initially going to do 2 videos on, and all the advertorials and videos were supposed to surround the idea of combating gay conversion therapy, as well as promote stronger families. With the videos, however, the video we shot for the stronger families, we got a lot of themes coming out of that one video. So instead of doing just 2 videos, we actually managed to do 3. And I have clips of them all here today. And what the advertorials and the videos were supposed to do is we were supposed to provide the best practice information and to kind of counter the narratives that were being pushed out by gay conversion therapists, as well as people who are discriminatory against LGBTI people. So in doing that, we spoke with members of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists. We partnered with Dr. Katisha Khan, who was the former president of TTAP. She actually runs the Stronger Families program that I'll talk about in a minute. We also wanted to talk to some faith leaders and religious inclined people to get a feedback of what they understood by the term gay conversion therapy, and to kind of chart the way forward in our combating it. Because what we don't want to do, and what we never intended to do, is we never wanted to, or never want to take away anybody's right to practice religious expression, or we never wanted to encroach on anybody's right to religious practice. So we just wanted to touch base with them to get a general viewpoint and to exchange information. So the background on gay conversion therapy. In July of 2017, an evangelical church in Trinidad and Tobago actually signed a lease to allow Pastor Philip Lee, who is the minister of the His Way Out Ministries, So they established a presence here. If we're unfamiliar with the term gay conversion therapy, what it is, it's just a mixture of different practices, religious, physical, and mental, to kind of change the way sexual orientation is. They want to revert, quote unquote, to heterosexuality and heteronormativity. This has largely been debunked by a lot of countries and across, I think it's 19 states in the US, because they realize that it's actually an illegal practice. Now, it's not it is harmful, but the physical effects from it are not necessarily that much practiced anymore, because in the 1980s, before it was outlawed, they did a lot of electroshock therapy and they did a lot of physical things to try to change the sexual orientation of the person. But what they do now is they introduce more religion and talk therapy and just cognitive behavioral changes. Conversion therapy is actually pseudoscientific because it's enshrined in the belief that the approach is actually scientific when it's actually not. It's based on assumptions and it's based on confirmation bias. And the claims are often grave exaggerations, because I think a lot of people, when they think of conversion therapy, think it's not as harmful as it actually is. The risks of conversion therapy include depression, self-harm, low self-esteem, a lot of things that are actually harmful to a person. So in us trying to combat gay conversion therapy, we try to build a lot of that research to show people that it's actually a harmful practice, emotionally, physically, and mentally. Because even, as we all know, when we get tired, what happens? We shut down emotionally and physically, right? So we just wanted to highlight that there. So with Stronger Families, Silver Lining Foundation is actually a part of the Sexual Culture of Justice grant, which is under the Alliance for Justice and Diversity that Mr. Robinson will talk about shortly. Under the Sexual Culture of Justice grant, we actually run a psychosocial support group called Stronger Families. What this project enabled us to do is to pull from the education and the awareness aspect of it. So whereas we are able to actually run this program under one project, we are actually able to build the education and communication and awareness out of this one. So with the visibility for Stronger Families, we were able to go to a lot of the events over the last year, both queer identified and non-queer identified, and we were able to spread the message of building stronger families. With the advertorials, all advertorials were published in the Trinidad Express over a 6-month period. We wrote 4 advertorials. Each advertorial was centered around a commemorative day, and it was also a specific theme to try to marry the 2 themes of the commemorative day and the theme that we were doing. So we did 2 on stronger families, we did 1 on conversion therapy, and to go in hand with the deliverables for the project, we did 1 on gender-based violence as well. It's actually more intimate partner violence, but we tried to marry the 2 to make it just a general gender-based violence. So the advertorials, they were published in May, August, and November. They're all, I think they're viewable on the Express's website, so I'm not sure because I'm not sure of the archives, but we have some, we have the articles because we wrote them, but we have some snapshots of the advertorials here. So as you can see, we were published in the Newsday. That was part of the visibility aspect, but the Stronger Families article was actually the center one there. Right, so as part of the visibility of the Stronger Families, as I said, we went to different events. So at UWI's Guildfest in September, we ran a booth and we promoted not just the project, but the aspect of Stronger Families. As you can see here, we have pictures of 2 children. While we were there, these children were so enamored by the rainbow flags. I guess it's because children just like color, but they were very accepting to knowledge, and the parents themselves were open to having the children learn about queer rights and about just queer experiences in general. I purposely chose the picture of the little boy on the end here because as you can see, there are two cookies there. One is a rainbow cookie and one is a Trinidad cookie, the Trinidad flag. And what we are trying to do as general advocates is we're trying to advocate for equal rights, right, under the gambit of Trinidad and Tobago, right? We also, as part of the Pride Festival, we attended, and actually one of our board members spoke at the event. This was a reading of Norman Is That You? And if we're familiar with Raymond Chukang's play in 1980, I think it's 1980 something, I'm not sure of the year. What he did was that he actually did a dramatic reading for us, the people who were there. And the play centered around a father who is homophobic and had to deal with his child coming out as a queer person. It was really inspiring to sit there and be surrounded, one, by the genius that is Raymond Chukang, but also the support system that we had at the reading there, because it was really centered around families, and they invited families to be there. So as part of the panel discussion afterwards, some of the parents who were supportive and accepting of their LGBTI identified child, they were able to just let us know how they came to accept it, because for a lot of people it's uncharted waters and unnavigated waters. And with the project and the program, what we tried to do is to give parents and guardians and just caretakers the proper tools to equip them to help navigate those uncharted waters. And at the first ever Pride Parade in Trinidad and Tobago, we printed the banner to promote not just, again, the project, but the program that we run. A lot of people came up to our booth at the fair and were interested in getting information of how they can become future advocates, because the general goal of Stronger Families is to build allies. I think personally, a lot of the times people will take information readily from somebody, not just somebody who has intimate knowledge of the situation, but somebody who is passionate about the situation. So what we've tried to do with Stronger Families is we've tried to build that allyship with parents, and not just the parents, but with the LGBTI child themselves. And the child doesn't mean someone who's on the age of 18, it's once you are the child of a parent. We talk to anybody. We actually shot the 3 videos. It was supposed to be one each on Stronger Families and gay conversion therapy, but as I said before, the themes that were coming out of the Stronger Families video, we actually managed to pull 2 big ones. One was, we posed a question to them: what would you do if your child came out to you as queer? And in those responses, a lot of them talked about the aspect of love, which is something we tried to promote. So the other theme that we identified was that love is love, and that you should love your child unconditionally, regardless of however they identify. The Stronger Families video was actually shot at the Pride Fair and Festival. So we did short interviews, I call them Vox Pops. We did them with various people across the day, from early o'clock to late in the evening. It's actually completed. It's viewable online on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube page. Conversion therapy, we sat down with Jessica Jones, who is a survivor of conversion therapy. And what it did, it was an hour long, and she spoke to us about having to navigate coming into her own as a queer identified person while living in a space where her father was very religiously inclined. And he basically told her, you need to ship out. And gratefully, thankfully, she is a survivor of conversion therapy. We actually have 2 clips that I want to show you.
So if my child came out to me and said that she was a part of the LGBT community,
first of all, take a deep breath, remain calm.
And if they come out to you, it's very brave, and you need to accept them for who they are, because they're living their truth.
Well, I think the first thing is it's just that unconditional love, just to assure the child that you have our love and our support.
I think the common denominator in any relationship, your child, your wife, your spouse, is love. You know, you have to love your child. You have to love.
You love your child no matter what?
I would accept her because it's my baby and I love her and God don't make no mistakes. So I taken her anywhere I could get her.
Remember, your child is going to be feeling insecure and taking a big step by telling you that. So you gotta support them, love them, listen to them, let them talk.
It takes a very strong person, especially to come out to their parents, which I think they hold the closest. And if they come out to you, it's like you just really need to love them and accept them for who they are.
The thing is, being LGBT is one aspect of that child. It's not what defines him or her. You know, that child can still be a president, prime minister, member of parliament, entrepreneur, very creative, educated, sportsman. Being LGBT is how they were born.
It's a human being, it's your child, and therefore to ostracize people because of their preferences or who they are, really and truly it's totally unacceptable.
Nothing is wrong with loving someone who is same sex. Love is love, so you really cannot stop what love is. So my advice to parents is that you should really accept your child, accept who they love and move on with it. It's a new generation. Let's move on.
It's your right. It's your right to be who you are.
To be loved.
And to be loved. And for anybody to say anything different to that, something is very, very wrong. And this country has to grow up finally.
This is your child. Like, how could you give away part of yourself? How could you let part of yourself go? I'm supposed to protect my child and love my child, and that's my job. So my advice, if any, is do what you came here to do, which is love your child. It's yours.
So we have an excerpt from the Jessica Jones interview because it's actually still in the post-production phase, but we have the full Stronger Families video to show you all. So with the visibility, the deliverables were generally to not just draw visibility for the projects again, but to highlight queer experiences as just experiences. We wanted to occupy public spaces and do regular, commonplace, mundane things. So some of the things that we identify, we wanted to use these five. These five aspects. And what we did was we lumped them all under sensitivity, education, and awareness. We wanted to sensitize and educate the public about gay conversion therapy. We wanted to sensitize and educate the public on the building of support systems for queer people. We wanted to dispel myths and misconceptions, which is what we always try to do as advocates, about sexual orientation and gender identity. And we really and truly wanted to establish some effective communication between families and peers and etc. So we identified 3 activities that we would like to do visibility for. And what we did was we went to Trinidad Juve, and Juve was just to assert the power and to recognize that, as Renelle indicated in her presentation before, carnival culture is very much fluid. So we just wanted to take back power and, show, what, it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, gay, straight, however you want to identify. Sorry? Yeah, it was just a space for resistance, right? We also participated in the International Women's Day rally and march in March. And what it was just to highlight gender-based violence and intimate partner violence as well, and also, again, to promote the project and visibility. And Easter, we actually wanted to, again, occupy spaces that everyone would occupy. So on Easter Sunday, we actually went to Queen's Park, Savannah, and flew a rainbow kite. We invited some people to come across to where we were. We had a banner that was under the theme of Humanity Blooms. Humanity blooms with love and something. I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry, but we have the picture with the actual banner, so we covered our behinds. Right. Now, in addition to this, when we conceptualize the project, obviously we don't know what's going to happen over the course of the year. Two things actually happened that enabled us to further encourage visibility. So we had two Stand With Us demonstrations under the AJD. One was the parliamentary demonstration, and one was at the Hall of Justice with the anti-Buggery law ruling. And the Pride Festival came up, and it was a perfect opportunity for us to encapsulate the entire year of all the visibility. So we, again, did all the promotion for both projects under the Redefining Politics of Gender grant. So we just have some photos to show you of what we did. So for the Queer Power for Juve, we actually held a very large pride flag. We adorned ourselves in pride t-shirts, and a lot of people actually, initially I thought a lot of people would not want to hold the big pride flag. I see a lot of people more comfortable with the smaller ones. I have one in my car. But the aspect of a very large pride flag, the size of probably a national flag, I was not wary, but I wondered what the response to that was going to be like. And to my surprise, people were coming up to us, and we kind of had to harangue the flag back from the people. But we enabled just to take back that power, and again, to show the resistance to heteronormative ideals. So you can see there's some shots. We try to get as much as people. And this is an activity we partner directly with CAFRA with, because you can see there in the middle one, well, hopefully you can see, but we have the pride flag and we have the gender equality flag on as an X, right? International Women's Day Rally. It's the second one we had in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's the second time we partnered with IGDS and CAFRA. Again, just to take back power, to assert power, and to promote women's empowerment and gender equality. Eager for Easter. So the theme is Humanity Blooms in Love and Equality. So you see, we save ourselves there, right? So you can see at the top right-hand corner, there was a child. We actually had a small scavenger hunt for children with positive messages hidden inside Easter eggs. So they were allowed to go and search for the eggs around the area, and they were able to open up those eggs and get positive messages, not for themselves, but for the community as well. The banner as well, we had people sign it. General messages of support and love, and for me it was actually one of the really interesting activities that we would have done. Because with occupying public spaces, sometimes I think, well, personally, I'm wary of how people are going to react and respond. But what this past year has actually taught me was that people generally either A, don't respond, or they respond positively, because some people just don't want confrontation, I believe. But that's Eager for Easter. The parliamentary demonstration, we gathered together for these two Stand With Us movements, and what that showed us under the aspect of visibility was that the community is more powerful than we think. My exposure to it was in a matter of days, and to see the amount of people that came out to support the cause for the call for equal rights, I'm so sorry, the call for equal rights, it was really heartwarming to see. It's not like I expected it to be a handful of people, but the volume of people that were there were actually very much interesting and very much heartwarming. And at the ruling, when the law was overturned and we were successful, we did the same thing. So you can see there we had the Trinidad flag, and we had lots and lots and lots of rainbows, and again, community support. Now, the Pride Parade is something very special to me, and I'll talk personally about it here. The Pride Parade, the genesis of the Pride Parade and Pop-Up Fair was actually conceptualized by the Pride Committee, but our Chief Administrative Officer for Silver Lining Foundation, Kennedy Mirage, That was his brainchild. And after the entire day, I called him and I expressed to him how grateful I was that he actually did this. Because, and I'll be open and honest here, I was a bit hesitant to participate in the Pride Parade, not because I am fearful of my openness, but again, with the aspect of how people are going to receive and respond. I'm not a violent person, so I never want to encourage violence or have violence around me. And we live in a society that I wouldn't necessarily is very homophobic, but they're very intolerant. So we don't know how it's going to go about. But I don't know if it is the soca that happened on the day or if it was just the general vibes on the day. But as the day went on before the parade, I felt more comfortable. And I feel it's because there was an actual sense of community. There was an actual sense of togetherness. There was an actual sense of oneness and equality. So it enabled me to pick up the banner and walk through the streets of Port Esprit and Trackridge Road in the Nelson Mandela Park as well, and parade through the streets. So this is just some shots of the fair, which was held at Nelson Mandela Park, and the parade. Interestingly enough, the center image is what's most meaningful, I think, because you can see in the back there's the Trinidad flag, in the center there is the rainbow flag, and you can also see the transgender flag as well. And that just shows that the community is actually one together. Two, it's actually promoting equality for everyone. And it's just a matter of, showing that, we can exist in the same space. The same way for 2 days people parade up and down for Carnival, the same way people will march for women's empowerment, the same way people will call for better inclusion, better rights, people will call for safer communities and etc. It's the same thing we did with the Pride Parade. And it was really an eye-opening experience to me. So yeah, this was just some of the work that we were able to do over the last year. And I'm excited to see where we go. Maybe we'll have more events this year, we never know. But I'm looking forward to where we go from here, because I feel like last year and I don't mean we as Silver Lining, but the community itself made so much strides in promoting equality and being a better community for each other, that, we only have up to go from here. So we'll see where we go. Right, so I just want to thank you all for your time. I hope I didn't bore anyone, because I'm seeing no one sleeping, so that's a good sign, right? So again, thank you all very much and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be here with everyone.